Monetization helps everyone feel safe. Or moderation. I can't talk right now. Oh fuck, I forgot my drink. I'll be back.
You'll be back?
Gonna be happy what I got.
What are we talking about today?
But no, it's not Marvel, Image, or DC. This is one of my one-off comics that I got. It's a part of a series, but I only have one from these people. But I do have a couple cards from these people. 2 big poster cards and 1 normal Star Wars card. Anyways, we are talking about... This is a horror comic, okay? I'm just saying the genre here. It's horror. It's something you're gonna like.
Okay,
we're talking about Jason versus Leatherface. This is what we're going over today, people. This probably for Leatherface, I'm not too sure, but it does have Chop Top in it, who is only, I believe, in number 2. So it takes place after number 2, but I think before 3 for Texas Chainsaw timeline. With Jason, since he doesn't, aside from on the cover here, this is what they look like on the cover. Jason doesn't look like Jason on this cover. But that's because this is around the time that Part 9 came out, so it's more of a Part 9 look, and I think this is more of a just a Leatherface look. But if you take this out, and when we go inside, Jason doesn't look like that. Jason looks like this. So this is either... So this, and since he's chained down at the bottom of the goddamn lake, which only is in part... Let's see. Part 3 was when he was 3D, and that's when he died, but didn't. Part 4 introduced Tommy Jarvis. Part 5 was not Jason. Part 6 is when he got sent down to the lake. Part 7, he got resurrected by the telekinesis teenager. What the fuck was her name? I don't remember. And then sent back down to the lake at the end of the movie, I believe. So it's either before Part 5. This is before Part 7. Yeah, I don't think he got sent back down with the mask. His mask was broken in Part 7. So before Part 7, after Part 6. I shouldn't be trying to put these comics in timeline order, but it's weird. Jason has books there. This comic and timeline Voorhees has a multiple comic book. And this is why I don't like going live, Mom. And this is why I like just... I don't know. Why I like just...
Are we back or what?
We are back, okay? But the reason I don't like going live is because it likes messing up on us, so then I have to re-say what I say. And this is why I do all my videos pre-recorded.
Okay, well, I don't go live that often.
I like it as a number.
I'm getting it. Hold on. I rated an 8.
An 8? I have to say a 6, and that's only because he doesn't look like what he does in this actual comic.
Feeding the cat and checking on my food.
Okay, I have to say though, for Leatherface, I like how it okay, I have to bring it closer. It's stitched together. It is how he makes his mask, and then Jason just Jason with some red around it. This is by Topps Comics. It's issue 1 of 3. When it first came out, it was $2.95 in the US and $4.15 in Canada. Suggested for determined readers.
Yeah.
Nancy Collins, Jeff. This made by Nancy Collins,
prices are worth,
Jeff Butler, Steve Montano, and Simon Basley. I think that's how you say the last 2 names. Why am I showing it to the camera? We're trying to get help with names, Mom. When it's going to put it in the reverse imagery. This is why I don't like cameras and mirrors, because it puts everything in reverse imagery, and I don't like it.
Collins, Butler.
No. I know. No, those two, Steve and Simon.
Monteo. And Bisley.
Like I said, I hope we pronounce the names right. But if not, then not really my fault, since I don't know that many different languages. I know a little bit of Spanish, but not that much. Anyways, this is Jason vs. Leatherface Part 1 of 3, Going South. Nancy Collins is the writer. Nancy Collins / Dave Emhoff is plot. Jeff Butler is artist. Steve Monteo is inker. Renee Wintersteffer. I don't know how to is editor / colorist. Electric colorist. Computer and the electric crayoner. And this stuff with computer. Simon Bisley is the cover artist. I'm sorry for only giving your, if you're still alive and you see this, I'm sorry for only giving your cover a 6. But the mask don't look like Jason. The rest of the stuff does.
That's why I only gave it an 8.
And Jeff Butler did frontal specs.
Because if the mask would have looked like Jason, it would have been a 10 instead of an 8.
Top Comics, okay. Okay. Anyways, before I read, here's the beautiful artwork. The beautiful artwork. I told you, inside, the artwork is...
I can see the artwork, but...
nice. Outside, it's also nice, but it looks... I just noticed something, Mom. But with the way they have the orange up in the sky, it looks like a goddamn atomic bomb went off.
I thought the woods were on fire behind them. Because that's what it looks like.
It looks like something went on fire in the background of the cover.
On fire.
Like that one song that I don't know the name to anymore, but it's something like setting the woods on fire or some shit. I don't know. Anyways, oh, I didn't even notice they have Jason right here. How to tape this down so it's coming on. Anyways, once, not so long ago, yeah, I can now finish reading, so she came back with her food. She got mozzarella sticks. Anyways, once, not so long ago, Crystal Lake was a place where people came to enjoy summer's ideal to see nature's beauty and maybe to fall in love. But that was before Jason. There's a sign that says, "Welcome to Camp Crystal Lake," and it's crooked. And then we get Jason right here, who looks like Jason from Jason Takes Manhattan, the way that they did the imagery here. But it isn't. I'm just saying that what this image reminds me of the poster with Jason's mask over Manhattan. Why is it called Jason Takes Manhattan? He's not even in that. They're not even in New York until the end of the goddamn movie. Should be called Jason Takes a fucking boat. He's on the boat more than he's in Manhattan.
What are we talking about tomorrow? Cryptids?
I don't know. I have to figure it out. Anyway.
Well,
I have a book about cryptids.
That seems like the best idea, since your dad will be...
about a cryptid. It's not really an actual cryptid, but he acts like one. Anyways, now, Jason's evil. His undying hatred of those who live and love hangs over... What the fuck you mean?
Going unscripted and talking about whatever we talk about tomorrow while we're live feeding snakes.
Whatever. I can probably find something to talk about. That ain't nerdy, really. Anyways, what do we mean hatred for live and love? Jason's just doing what anyone normally does to trespassers. Get them off his property. well, the two people reviewing left because of what I just said. But I have a reason to explain this. Think about it. Jason Voorhees died as a young kid. Okay? Hear me out. He then, even though he died as a kid, got out of the water and made a shack in the woods because his mom did something with the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dead. From Evil Dead. To make him... So Jason's a Deadite, even though he looks human. But all Deadites do at some point look human.
Your mom wishes actually existed?
It does. Not the Evil Dead one, but there is the actual Necronomicon Ex Mortis.
Yeah, and there's only like one copy and it's in a museum. You can actually find it to buy.
You can get a physical version, okay, not really a book, but if you buy the Evil Dead Collector's Edition, the movies come in a model case of the Book of the Dead.
Okay, I want the actual book though. Your mom's wicked like that.
But anyways, Pamela Voorhees used the Book of the Dead to bring back Jason. Apparently, he then made a shack in the woods, which you see in part 2. That means Jason has lived at Camp Crystal Lake for a couple years now, since he's an adult in part 2, but died as, let's say, 6 years old in the first movie. He died at some point. We don't know when exactly, I don't think, but he did die. And then after he died, his mother killed him. We know at least the year because it says so in the flashback of the first movie, but we don't know exactly when and if that's even the right year. Boom. So that means Jason sees Camp Crystal Lake as his home, and all the campers there are what, Mom?
Trespassers.
Yes, trespassers. Which is why he kills them. But then that kind of goes out of the way, since in part 3 is not at the camp. I mean, it's near the camp, but they're at a remote cabin area that's owned by this lady's parents. But Jason found this lady in the woods without his mask on, and she don't want to tell, and she don't want to remember what happened after this. So there's some things that Jason may have done something that mother wouldn't be happy of, but I don't think he did.
Jason had sexy sex in the woods?
She says that she doesn't remember what happened next, but I don't think Jason would kill her, but that she woke up at her parents' house after finding Jason's in the woods. I don't think Jason did anything, though, because, well, he was a stumbling buffoon. He was literally stumbling like he was drunk in his flashback. Probably right after part 2, but he had no hair, so then that would be a continuity retcon. But he had hair in part 2. And then in Friday the 13th part 4, he kills people who are at a house near the lake, but not at the lake. Near the camp, because the lake is connected to multiple other areas, so it's not really a lake, it's a fucking ocean. Camp Crystal Lake, in some movies, is the size of a fucking ocean, is what I'm saying. I mean, how much land is connected to. And he kills them, and kills Tommy's mom, so then that would make him the trespasser, since it's not out in Camp Crystal Lake or Camp New Blood, or what the fuck you want to call it. Everforest Green, I think it was called at one point. And then part 5 came along, and that wasn't Jason, so that don't count. Part 6 came along, and he killed people, but that was at a fucking daycare area of the camp. So that kind of makes sense, but and then part 7 is where they fucked up, kinda, but I think he still killed people at the camp. Part 8 is where the trespasser murder stopped, since then he became a trespasser on the boat, same with part 9.
You know you forgot this timeline, right? You forgot him going to Manhattan.
Part 8 is where he stopped killing people as a trespasser. He became the trespasser since he killed them on the boat, he killed people in Manhattan, and then part 9, he's in the fucking desert, apparently. Apparently, Camp Crystal Lake became a desert. Is that what the fuck it looks like? And he then went to multiple places, killed multiple people that wasn't at the camp, because he possessed a lot of people, because they ate his heart and other shit, and he transported his sword to other people, and that's where the Deadite thing comes from, is part 9. And then in part 10, he was in space. He killed people at a space station and then on a spaceship. And then Freddy vs. Jason, he killed people on Elm Street. So that's where hey, at least he recycles. So I'm not saying he kills them because they're trespassing, really, but they're also dumbass teenagers who've done dumbass things. So most of them deserve to die after the fourth movie.
It's not my fault you guys always let him take it.
Anyways, though, hangs hatred of those who love and live and love hangs over the lake and surrounding countryside. In the surrounding countryside, the laughter of campers enjoying summer's pleasure is gone forever. I wish my phone was charged so I could look up this place right here. Setting the wood on fire! Fire! Hellfire! This fire in my skin is burning desire. Like fire! Hellfire! I don't know why the fuck am I singing that song from Disney. The song with the priest.
What?
That song with the priest from Hunchback of Notre Dame 1 called Hellfire, where he's talking about a gypsy woman. That's what he says. But I don't know why I like the song. It's a good song, the way they sing it. In that one Disney film. The Hunchback of Notre Dame 1, or Notre Dame, however you want to say it. I hate people saying two different ways.
Change my calendar tomorrow.
Anyways. What, can you pronounce that sign? That sign right there to the building. That sign. And I'm going to get the Yeti. I'm going to grab my Yeti cat. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
No.
Oh no.
Because I can't even see it. I still...
Get some fucking glasses, old lady!
I probably do.
Old lady, grandma!
I do need some reading glasses.
No wonder why they call you grandma. They're not calling you grandma to make fun of you. They're calling you grandma, but you can't read shit. I'm making fun of my mom. Also, this. Granny is.
Oh, Merry Christmas. Place a book in my hand, and I'll read you a holiday story.
Lionheart, it looks like, and I can't see the bottom.
Linhart amalgamate. I think this is Linhart Amalgamated.
The top looks like Linhart, but I can't see the bottom.
Which is the sign right there on that building. Anyways, I'm just reading because I was waiting. Anyway, Santa, you want a book? Here. Can you read it to me? Fuck no, fuck you.
No, it's gotta be a little book that comes with him from Avon.
Anyways, to be replaced by things more in keeping with its tainted heritage. I forgot there was countryside near Camp Crystal Lake. Anyways, that's what it says in the third panel. Next page. The artwork. Look, the good thing this isn't a 3D comic.
You look like he's trying to kill me.
Well, he's trying to grab your ass.
Yeah.
Anyways. Trapped. He has been trapped here for how long? Weeks, months, decades? He has no way of knowing, nor does he care. Time means nothing to him. All that matters is vengeance. Actually, yeah, I can see Jason. Yeah, Jason is a very vengeful person. He tried to kill Tommy. Well, Tommy was a kid in the fourth movie, and I don't think he really tried to kill him, but he went after he did kill his mom. Tommy then hallucinated normal Jason in the fifth movie, because the Jason in the fifth movie, spoiler alert, isn't actually Mr. Voorhees, but it's a paramedic named Roy Burns who's pretending to be Jason because a guy at this mental health place killed his son, who was a mental health patient there. And apparently, Tommy Jarvis went to other multiple mental hospitals from the horror universe at one point. If the Friday the 13th game is canon, but it has a mention to the hospital in Freddy vs. Jason even.
He was still alive, just barely.
What else? Oh yeah, and then Jason tried to kill Tommy in the sixth movie because, well, even though Tommy brought him back to life, and then in the Freddy vs. Jason comics, Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, the Dream Warriors, I think it was called. It was the Nightmare Warriors. Yeah, the Nightmare Warriors. Jason tries to kill Tommy again. So yes, Jason would be a very vengeful person. A vengeful spirit, you could say.
You may say a lot.
Anyways, back to the comic. They're out there. He can feel them. They're out there in the light, while he remains hidden, condemned to the shadows, his name and deeds spoken of in whispers of mention at all. And he knows this would still be true even if he had not drowned in this very lake 20 years before. How old are you, Jason? You fucking old man age probably. You're like 60. What the fuck? Hang on. Because... No, you're not that old. Let's see. Part 2 takes... Part 2 is a couple weeks after part 1 at least. A week after.
What year he drowned?
I don't remember. But let's see. Your phone's right there. I gotta go get my phone. I'll be right back.
I was about to say, if you figure out what year at the beginning of the movie they say he drowned, since you know you're 6.
He at least was 6. He doesn't look older than 6. At least 6 or 7.
I'm assuming he's like 50-some.
And I'm not saying that to be a joke, but we have to take in the point. We have to take in every movie, even the one Jason Goes to Space, where he dies.
Because I think
Freddy vs. Jason.
Say he drowned sometime in the 70s, they say.
Hang on. Friday the 13th timeline. Timeline of the Friday the 13th series. 1930 is when Pamela Sue Voorhees was born. 1935 is when the Christie family established Camp Crystal Lake. 1941, Freddy Krueger is born. I'm going off the timeline. Freddy is mentioned because Freddy vs. Jason. We all know that. 1946, Jason Voorhees is born to Pamela and Elias Voorhees. Elias either gets killed by his wife if he's an abusive husband to his family, as in the comics, or abandoning his wife and son if he's not abusive to his family, as in the comics. Yes, Elias only appears in the comics, and he's abusive. And Pamela raises her son apart from the other children in the Voorhees house. 1957. Pamela receives the job of cook at Camp Crystal Lake. Friday, September 13th. While there, Oh, he's not 6. No, he's older than that, apparently.
Where did I come over here to look for him?
Go sit down. I don't know. Please, I'm reading this to you and everyone.
Listening.
He's 11.
Oh, he's 11.
While there, 11-year-old Jason Voorhees accidentally drowns in the lake after being bullied by most of the other campers. While this was happening, none of the counselors were paying any attention instead of having sex and talking, not paying attention to Jason being bullied or drowned afterwards. No body is found, and it is assumed that Jason had drowned. 1958, Friday, June 13th. So he died in September.
I was just getting ready to do something, miss. Over there while I was listening to him read, but I can't remember now what I was going to do.
Pamela, driven mad with grief over her son's death, kills 2 counselors at Camp Crystal Lake. The killer is never apprehended, and the camp is soon shut down. Several attempts are made to reopen Camp Crystal Lake in the years that follow, but are soon halted by mysterious fires. 1959, Alice Hardy is born, somewhere in California, to Mr. and Mrs. Hardy. The 60s, 1961 to 1960 to 61. Dinah Voorhees is born to Elias Voorhees, and a woman who is not Pamela. That explains the half-sister in part 9. 1962, a attempt to open the camp Crystal Lake is halted by a case of poison water. The camp comes to be regarded by locals as having a death curse, and is nicknamed Camp Blood, which was actually going to be the actual title of the first movie. 1965, Chris Higgins is born. 1968, Trish Jarvis is born, which is Tommy's sister, whose father is Malcolm Jarvis, who we only know about from the games.
I came over here to get the tape.
And mother is Tracy Jarvis, who dies. And a possible son named Mark Jarvis in Friday the 13th, Part 2. But not everyone named Jarvis is related, probably, so who knows? But, boom! In 1972, Trish's brother Tommy Jarvis is born. 1979 is when we get to the first fucking rest of the movie of Friday the 13th. So that means that Jason died in the 1950s. 1957 to be exact. Pamela got her revenge, part of it, in the next year. So, 1979, which is, how many years later? 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, that's 11, 70,
22.
71, 22 years, yeah, 22 years later. Steve Christie, determined to reopen Camp Crystal Lake, begins to spend $25,000 to, well, basically remodel the abandoned camp. Wednesday, June 13th, Pamela goes on a killing spree at Camp Crystal Lake, trying to stop the camp from... It's not even a Friday. It's not even a fucking Friday. It's not even a Friday. It's a fucking Wednesday. And they call it Friday the 13th. Well, Jason did probably die on a Friday, so... who knows. Anyways. She, and the first movie happened, she kills Steve, kills Steve Christie and 6 of his new hired counselors. Finally, the mad woman is decapitated with a machete. By the only...
start her killing spree on a Friday?
Well, she got her... Yes, Friday, June 13th, 1958.
That's how it got its name.
And that's what we see. We see that at the beginning of the first movie. Where they go out to have sex and then she kills them. Anyways, though. With a machete. So that means Jason would be how old if he was 11 when he died in... what year was it? 1957. So how old would he be? In 79? If he was 11 in 57?
Give me a minute. That means he was born in 46. So, 22 plus 11. 33.
She's gonna be 33?
In 79, yes, because it was 22 years since he died.
Mm-hmm.
And he was born 11 years before that. So 22 plus 11 is 33.
Okay.
Because he would have been born in 46.
And, well, you know, Alice Hardy, Jason Voorhees have either returned from the dead,
so he'd be like 80
or never actually drowned, witnessing his mother's death and takes her head and several artifacts of her clothing, as well as the machete that killed her. Possibly not in the original continuity. After Pamela's death, Jason also retrieved her locket containing a picture of himself and his mother, which is part of the reboot timeline. So not part of the original timeline.
Technically it is. Because technically, if you look in his closet, in the original timeline when he opens his door, along with seeing his mother's head float around, you see the locket. You don't know what's in it, but you see the locket.
That's why I said not in original continuity about this part with the locket, since you don't know if it has a picture of him and his mom in it.
But you know the locket's in there.
Thursday, June 14th, Alice is found in a canoe floating on the river, claiming that she was attacked by 11-year-old Jason Voorhees. According to the officer who questions Alice in the hospital, she is pulled from the lake by two officers thought to be dead. Sometime after Pamela's killing spree, Camp Crystal Lake is condemned and prohibited for anyone to enter. Or don't know the day. Yes. Is released from the sanitarium after her parents' wishes. Alice returned to the town of Camp Crystal Lake to conquer her that transpired 2 months previous. One night, Jason Voorhees entered the apartment where she is staying and murders her. He takes her body to his shack in the woods near Camp Crystal Lake. Note, the date in the movies are from the year 88. When the movie was not released. When the movie was released, not 79 when the movie takes place.
That's when you see what's in his closet. Because that's where her body goes.
June 13th, 1979 was a Wednesday. June 14th, 1979 was a Thursday, 1979. The months with Friday the 13th. With the 13th on a Friday were April and July. And the two most likely experiences are that either the original film takes place in April or July instead of June, or the franchise takes place in a universe where the calendar is slightly different from ours. However, since the dates in most of the other films match our calendar, it is more likely that the events of the first movie takes place in July. It wouldn't be April because the school year hasn't started yet, so summer camp wouldn't have started yet. So it should be noted that Steve Christie knows the moon is full and is in fact in April 13th. Date is the day after the full moon. April makes sense as well because the victims were preparing the camp to open for the summer.
Didn't they print that wrong? Because it couldn't be April because the school year hadn't ended yet?
Oh yeah, not started yet, ended yet. I misread it. I was reading the summer school part and I, so I started, boom, ended yet. And then now we go to the 80s. 1880. Tina Shepard is born and Ron Wickham is born. Ronnie Wickham. Ronnie, I know that. Yeah, Rena. Not Rain. Ron. Yeah, boom. The girl with the fucking hallucinations from part 8. And Tina Shepard is the telekinetic teenager from part 7, which is where everything got fucked up. Friday, June 13th, reboot only. In the 2000s reboot timeline, Pamela Voorhees' rampage at Camp Crystal Lake takes place on this date rather than the year before. Unlike 13th June 1979, this date was actually a Friday. It is unclear if this change is a retcon like the first film and is not the actual date. The first film was listed as presented, though it doesn't take place in 1980. Or it is unique to the reboot timeline. So that's, yes, if it mentions anything about the reboot, I know we'll read my comic, but I'm just going to mention a Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing.
Okay.
And then go back to the comic once we get to anything before part 7. So I'm going to put this up. So before part 7, after part 6 is when I will get to here.
That's fine. Cause
Maybe.
There's nothing else. This is something that can carry over into all freaking.
I like reading.
Like I said, it's something. If nothing else, this can carry over into all snakes feeding videos.
Or we can do this, timeline of that character, or part, and then read a comic for that character, if it's someone as famous as, Jason Leatherface. Anyways, 82, Summer, while staying at her family's, I'll be right back, I'm gonna go get my charger, so I'm being a dumbass, I don't need to keep my charger in there to charge my phone. I should have just brought it out here to charge my phone. Out here.
That's what.
No, we won't be doing anything Marvel or DC right now, since I haven't gone through my comic really of what I want to actually read before I put everything up. But there is a possibility to read the Transformers comic I got, the Image comic stuff I got, and some of the other non-DC and Marvel shit I got, which are a couple of horror.
Because
So
there's nothing else we can do books too, because we can go into my books and stuff.
Yeah.
And do parts of them for lives.
I know.
In my comics.
I know. Anyways, I'm gonna put my phone in, people, if anyone's watching at any point. No, I don't know when it is right now, but they may soon. Or later. Anyways. 1982. God damn, Jason's old. I feel old by saying this. Summer. While staying at her family's summer house, Higgins Haven, 17-year-old Chris Higgins gets into a fight with her parents. Runs into the woods and is attacked by Jason. Chris passes out and wakens back at her home. Her parents used to speak of the incident. So did her parents save her? What happens is they treat Jason as like he's a myth, a legend, and not an actual person in these movies. The myth of him dying and coming back. But if he's an actual, then this is why I don't get. This is why I hate part 3. I mean, this is a part 3 in continuity, because part 3 takes place the day after part 2. And, so that means that flashback takes place before part 2. So part 2 is in 1884. Thursday, July 12th, Paul Hart's counselor training program at Packnack Lodge is open. Jason Voorhees, wearing a burlap sack to cover his face, kills local Doomslayer, Ralph. The guy who they call Crazy Ralph in the movies. Who says this, "You're all doomed," in the first one. Friday, the next day, enraged that the Crystal Lake area is being intruded upon, Jason kills 6 of the counselors in training and a local police officer. Officer Winslow. Eventually, Jason is faced by Jenny Field and Paul Holt. Jenny discovers Jason's shack and manages to slice his left shoulder open with a machete, with the same machete which killed Pamela Voorhees. This
The only one that has problems with lives, right?
But that's because Jenny put on Jason's mom's sweater, and Jason, well, he only has one eye hole in his back, so he's probably blind anyways. Who sees his mom? Maybe she's talking to him in like a motherly voice, as if she is his mom. So what I'm saying is, if you find Jason Voorhees, find a young blonde-haired woman who has a gentle voice and just give her his mom's sweater. You'll live. As long as he doesn't see his mom's head. That's the only problem in here.
It's alright, sweetie. Mommy's here.
No, shut the fuck up.
Everything's fine.
I ain't doing that shit. Shut up. Because Jenny, when she went to fucking stab Jason, she moved too far and he saw his mom's head on the table. Anyways, and stops Paul from being attacked by Jason.
It's time to go to sleep now, Jason. Mom
Right?
says
Fucking
it's
Jason.
time to go to sleep.
Mommy says it's time to shut the fuck up. I'm mommy here. You ain't. You ain't nobody here. You're just off straight. I'm the main character. Anyways, let me finish fucking reading. I'm time to go to bed. It's only 9:59. The fuck you mean? You trying to go back to old fogey? I mean, she was an old
That's
fogey.
from the movie. That's
Alright.
what Jenny said. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think it is. Anyways. It stops Paul from being attacked by Jason. Oh yeah, the slap fight they had, I think. They had a slap fight at one point in the movie, if you don't remember. Part 2. Jenny and Paul arrive at one of the cabins to rest, thinking they have killed Jason. The pair hear the noise coming from the door and see Terry's dog, Muffin. Did Terry die? I don't remember. I think he did. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, I don't see why he'd leave the dog at the camp if he didn't die. Yeah. Also, I have to say, though, there was multiple people who probably were happy in part 2. Because not all the counselors came back to the camp. Because if you remember, Paul took the trainees to a diner in the city. And some of them stayed behind that night. Because it was raining. But others went back to the camp because he needed help getting it set up. Not the camp, but the cabin he had. The Pack and Sack Lodge. He needed, so yeah. So the ones who stayed behind are probably fucking happy they stayed behind that night. Especially the sister. Later, Jason crashes through the window and Paul attempts to stop him, but is taken away and dismembered. When is that? Where is that? When I don't think we see that in the movie because then we just cuts to the next day. The police arrive there. Jenny is rescued and taken to the hospital Saturday, July 14th, and she screams, "Where's Paul?" So unless this is in one of the books or the video game or something like that, then it's not confirmed. We didn't see him die, so it ain't confirmed. Unless if it's mentioned in, like I said. Oh, okay. It was more explained in an interview with someone with the author of Camp Crystal Lake Memories. And the complete history of Friday the 13th and the Friday the 13th Part 2 DVD features. There's a picture of Paul with a huge scar on his head and dead, shocked face that says Jason killed him. Oh, and also there was an unused ending where Jenny questions where he's at, and it went to Mrs. Voorhees' head, which eyes open and smiles, confirming that Jason had killed him in cold blood. However, they didn't use that. But that's where the he was dismembered come from. Also, I forgot Friday the 13th was a novel as well. Because back then, the Friday the 13th movies became novels up until a certain point. So yeah. Okay, at least now I know where they say he got decapitated from, since they explain what happened to him at least in the documentary. Presume around this time, Robert De Niro. Oh yeah, the guy who says he's killing me in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Because he's killing me. Learns of his sister Sandra's death at the hands of Jason and vows to avenge her. If you don't remember who Sandra is, don't worry, I didn't either. Until looking up this Wikipedia. But Sandra is the girl in Friday the 13th, Part 2, that gets impaled with the spear by Jay. You know, the underage sex scene! where it's supposed to be more boobs out, but the actors in it were underage, and they actually just broke up before filming the scene a little bit ago. So it's embarrassing for him to film that scene, and Jason fucking put the spear through both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's who who what the fuck his name was? I forget now. What the fuck was his name? The guy's name. Was it Jeff, I think? Yeah, it was Jeff.
Yeah, the scene that made me a little afraid to have sex as a kid.
That's who Sandra was, people. The girl who got killed in the underage sex scene.
It's like, great. I'm gonna lose my virginity and then I'm gonna die.
And then the day after this happens, Friday the 13th Part 3 happens. That night, Jason gets a new set of clothes from the laundry line of Harold Hockett. Who the fuck comes up with these names? They're creative, they must be. And then proceeds to murder Harold and his wife, who don't have a Edna. His wife Edna. Jason spends the night at Higgins Haven. And then the next day, that was later at night of July 14th, Saturday. Next day, Sunday, July 15th. I only realized something. Only part of his movie takes place on Friday the 13th of Part 2, the main part.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to the fuck that. No, the next Friday the 13th, even though it's called Friday the 13th, it takes place on Sunday the 15th. This movie title is real fucked up. They should have literally just went with Camp Blood. I know Friday the 13th is, the day where, all the bad luck happens.
We should have thought Camp Crystal Lake.
No, they were going to call it Camp Blood. That was the original name for it. Which is why Camp Crystal Lake has the cursed name Camp Blood, because of all the death that happens there, I believe. But then they changed it to Friday the 13th. And before they even had a strip written for it, it said, best horror movie ever written. July 15th, 19-year-old Chris Hagen and 5 of her friends go on a weekend trip to Wired Bunch is what they're called. In the movie, actually.
Oh.
Or on a weekend trip to Higgins Haven, picking up Sheldon Frankenstein. Verona. Is that Russian name? Son. Upon their arrival, Jason kills the vacationers one by one, as well as Chris's ex-boyfriend, Rick. They're not dating in the movie, dumbasses. Who made this wiki? I mean, they probably could get back together later on, but it's her ex-boyfriend. And the 3 members of the motorcycle gang. Oh yeah, the only good characters in the movie. I watched Part 3. I didn't like it that much. During the massacre, Jason obtains a hockey match from the prankster Sheldon. It doesn't say the prankster, but I was letting you know who he is.
What? I was just reading the comments.
Okay.
After
a legendary confrontation with Chris, who recognizes Jason as the person who traumatized her in the woods 2 years previously, the girl asks him a question. I'm kidding. That's a joke. But no, she asks the madman in the face, seamlessly killing him. And then the next day, we go on to the next fucking day. The police find Chris in an unbalanced state. Harold is talking of a lady in the lake because she hallucinated. I mean, she got on the boat, I think, or something, and she got dragged down by Pamela Voorhees in a hallucination, and she had to bust for the door. Pamela Voorhees having attacked her. And I guess she was taken to a mental hospital too, just like Alice. But they don't say that. And this is not important. The next fucking day after that, Tuesday the July, and then Friday the 13th, the final chapter. That night, the bodies of Jason and the 10 victims of hanging were transported to Wessex, W-E-S-S-E-X, Wessex County Morgue. There, Jason revives and kills the coroner and the nurse, the horny coroner, who said she still is, talking about the dead body of a teenager. So that just means he's a pedo. He's an adult man talking about the body of a teenager. Well, we believe they're a teenager at least. They may have been a young adult, but still, that's, no. We don't talk about dead bodies that way. And the nurse, and hides their bodies before making his escape. I never got the idea of horror movie killers hiding the bodies of their victims in weird places, but I find it funny, so I don't mind it.
It's so they don't get caught.
I mean, Michael literally had a guy come down from a fucking closet in the first movie, in the one house, in the house. But we're not talking about Michael, we're talking about Jason. We're not talking about William Shatner, we're talking about... Hang on. Famous U.S. hockey players.
Wayne Gretzky, Bobby.
Yeah, we're talking about Wayne Gretzky. We're not talking about William Shatner.
Orr.
Wayne Gretzky, that's who we're talking about. I think they actually called Jason that in one movie. As a joke. They made like a reference to that. Anyways. Tuesday, July 17th. A group of 6 vacationing teenagers arrive at a cottage next door to that of the Jarvis family household, where Miss Jarvis, real name Tracy Jarvis, and her children, Trish, who's at least a young adult, maybe teenager, and 12-year-old Tommy, are currently residing. Jason kills a stranded hitchhiker on his way back to Kansas. You forgot, he also killed her banana too. I mean, her banana fell out of the thing, out of the banana peel after he stabbed her. The next day, Wednesday, July 18th, it makes sense for this to take a couple days and Jason's hitchhiking. Yes. The banana, yes. But this makes sense. Jason's hitchhiking. He's not known for running. And this was before he could teleport. Rob Diner arrives at Camp Crystal Lake, determined to hunt down Jason. The murderer kills the vacationing teenagers, as well as Miss Jarvis, Rob, and a set of teenage twins, which is Tina Moore and Terry Moore. T and T. Trish and Tommy fight for their lives until Tommy impales Jason in the head on his own machete. You forgot to say how Tommy did this. Tommy found Rob's pictures of Jason Voorhees that were in the newspapers, shaved his head, and put on some dirty clothes to look like 11-year-old Jason, and came down talking to Jason like, "It's okay, Jason," and Jason looking at him like, "What the fuck going on here? Is it me? Is that me? What the fuck? What?"
With your TNT. Tits on tits.
I'm making a reference to that song. TNT, Dynamite.
Well, you got me thinking tits on tits.
I mean, they got something. In the movie. One of them does. One of them gets banged. The other one gets hit on by multiple men. Not that good, but still. And it seems that Jason is still distinguishing signs of life. Tommy stabs the killer over and over again, screaming "die" endlessly. Jason Voorhees finally dies and is buried in the Internal Peace Cemetery. Internal Peace Cemetery. Why are we burying him in a place called Internal Peace Cemetery? Oh, a couple people were actually born there, buried there. 6 people from part 6, 4 from part 6, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
They're so
From part 9.
for all eternity?
Oh no, it's the Eternal Peace Cemetery.
Oh, I thought you said pee.
No.
Eternal peace, I get it, because that means you're at peace for all eternity.
Why are we burying Jason there though? He don't deserve that. He don't deserve to be in a place where he gets peace for having people murdered.
Someone he deserved peace.
One person from part 2.
He'd stay dead.
Roy Burns' wife is buried there, and then a lot from part 5 is buried there. A couple from part 2 from part 8, and a lot of people are buried there throughout the history. Even Mrs. Voorhees apparently is buried there, so you can find her. Oh, if this is where the continuity gets fucked up, because in part 2 or part 3, you can find Mrs. Voorhees' grave on the side of the road. But then, in part 6, part 5 and part 6, and in the video game, her grave is in the cemetery. And the game is apparently canon. The game's canon.
I want to know how she got a grave to begin with.
I don't know.
Because head and body and everything.
No, her body was still there. Her head was missing. So unless Jason buried her, how would they know? Oh, no, hang on. Her DNA on. No, it only mentioned he collected her head, her scarf, not scarf, her shirt. Wait a minute, that means that he left her body there. The police came upon topless
shirt, her locket,
and they didn't say her body, so that means he left the body there.
Yeah.
So that means the police came upon a topless, headless old lady body.
Mm-hmm.
I would not want to be the cops that day. I'm like, oh my god, oh. So that granny looks like she wasn't fat. Anyways, although officials of nearby towns are led to believe that his body was cremated.
You know, with that comment, you're lucky your granny don't watch this shit ever.
Yeah, I know. Anyways. Oh yeah, I forgot. Part 5, they lied and said he was cremated. Which he wasn't. But I can see why they would say that, since would you really want someone to try to dig up the body of a known serial killer? No. That's like someone in real life trying to dig up Jeffrey Dahmer's body. Or John Wayne Gacy's. Anyways, but his body does get digged up.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing the truth with all grave robbers and that people
It's just him as a goddamn. I wasn't saying they didn't get digged up. I'm just saying it's like
saying with the habit of grave robbery and the fact that someone tried to steal Lincoln's body.
Mm-hmm.
Someone probably done tried to steal a couple of serial killers over the years.
Can you clean up that garbage?
That's what I was getting ready to do.
Thank you. And can you give me that soda bottle, since I might as well throw it the fuck away, so I'm standing behind you, but you're at the fridge door? The that cola bottle is in there. There's not that much left in there. Which is kind of hindering me. He has that big ass stuff that fills it up all the way. But me too, but I was smaller.
Need the computer work.
What, Mom?
That way I can use it to upload off the camera, actually.
Okay. Anyways, what were we talking about? What part were we at now? What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. But anyways, his body does get digged up.
About how you don't see why anyone would try to steal a body.
No. I can see, why. Yeah, I can see you don't want them to dig up a serial killer's body. That's why, I use real life killers. But his body does get digged up. But we're not talking about that right now. That comes later. That comes way later in part 6 by Tommy. That's how Jason got Frankenstein. Tommy. Anyways, Tommy, heavily traumatized by his experience, spent the next 4 to 5 years being transferred from mental institution to the next. Anyways, we're going to go to Tommy's wiki, because I think it says which ones he gets transferred, which ones he's in, which ones he got sent to. So I'm going to go up a little bit up to find Tommy. Back to the 70s. But I'll go back down there to go to that. But it says, okay, he's 17 in A New Beginning, 18 in Jason Lives, and 37 in the Nightmare Warriors arc. In his face during the game, but he was sent to Pinehurst Youth Development Center. Jason Lives is Friday the 13th game. In the game, it gives us more history about where he was sent. He was sent to Weston Hills Asylum. Yes, that Weston Hills from A Nightmare on Elm Street. The one where Freddy's mom worked at. The one where she got raped by 1,007 men because they miscounted and said everyone was there but supposed to be in there. He also went to Smith's Grove from the Halloween franchise.
That's how they overlap. That explains how we ended up with Freddy vs. That's how they overlap.
No. Freddy vs. Jason happens aside from Tommy going there. It's because they both went to hell and they both were going to meet Pinhead.
But that's how they originally make it overlap. It's Weston Hills.
Kind of, not really. If in the unscripted version, in either Friday the 13th Part 9 or Freddy vs. Part 9 of Friday the 13th, at the end, Jason's mask gets dragged down to hell by Freddy's glove. That's where they overlap. But, and also that's where the Evil Dead series overlaps from Friday the 13th. But they're supposed to meet Pinhead, and he was going to say, "What's wrong, boys?" But they couldn't get the rights to Pinhead at the time to bring him in. Oh, but also this brings in the Halloween franchise, since Tommy was sent to Smith's Grove from the Halloween franchise. So that makes that one movie, Behind the Mask, Rise of Resi Vernon, canon.
Ain't that where Mike was at?
Yeah, that's Michael Myers. Okay, I will explain. There's a movie out there, okay? It's called...
I was making sure I was right there. I was
Yes.
making sure that was his...
It was a 2000 Leslie Vernon. It was a horror comedy kind of, but it was a documentary of how murderers murder their victims. And well, the main character is Leslie Vernon. He had a comic book as well. It's called Before the Mask. It was supposed to be a 2002 movie. And well, this so there's two movies that has, so I'm gonna tell the movies that has these horror universes connected, everything. Friday the 13th the game, Freddy vs. Jason, and Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash 2 comic book series. Boom. Then the Chucky franchise has the evidence locker room with Jason's mask, Michael's mask, Leatherface's chainsaw, and Freddy's glove. This comic series, Freddy vs. Jason vs. Leatherface, well. And this movie right here, it has a whole bunch of references to the other horror movies, and you can see them all. You get it on the news and stuff, they mention them. And it talks about how the older serial killers didn't come back, like Freddy, Jason, and Michael. So that means this movie is canon. This is a canon film. At least to the Friday the 13th Nightmare on Elm Street Halloween franchise. He then went to Glen... Oh, that's how. That's why. Yes, it is canon. He went to Glen Echo, which is from Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. He then went to New Orleans. Oh, the Hatchet films too. And New Orleans psychic area. Psych something. Can you pronounce it for me? After New Orleans.
New Orleans Psychiatric?
Yeah, he went there, which is from the Hatchet movies, which has Victor Crowley, which is another villain played by fucking the dude. What the fuck is his name? I gotta look up his name. Tom. Who plays Victor Crowley?
What?
Kane Hodder.
Are you the star?
Kane Hodder. Yes, Kane Hodder is who plays Crowley.
Kitty.
Kane Hodder. Anyways, though, so that means that Halloween.
Are you saying it's time to end the live there, Kitty? Miss Strawberry Daiquiri.
So that means that Halloween, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, and Hatchet is all canon to Friday the 13th because of this game. He then went to a Urgent Institute near Camp Crystal Lake in the hopes of comforting his fear, which he is reluctant of. Tommy has been transferred to Pinehurst without Laurel's knowledge. Lauren, I don't know who Lauren is, but that's who, knowledge, because she sent him to that urgent place. So yeah. And that's where this takes. That's mainly, and then he comes back later on, but those are in 2 short films, which may or may not be canon. After the comics, he comes back, but he comes back as an old man in 2 short films. So anyways, where were we? Oh, yeah, we were at the Internal Peace Place. And Tommy, being transferred from one mental institution to the next. So at least we know what mental institutions he went from. Smith Grove, Glen Echo, the New Orleans thing, and, boom, here.
New Orleans Psychiatric.
Yeah, New Orleans Psychiatric.
And you can't forget Weston Hills.
And Weston Hills, those are all the fucking places he went. Why the fuck is he going to Weston Hills instead of just the Pinehurst place, which is near Crystal Lake?
Probably because they felt he needed to be on Hypnosil, and Weston Hills is the only place that had
Hypnosil. I'm surprised you remember the name of the drug after all these years. Anyways, though, so
the Hypnosil is what gets poured down the...
Dude, we need those drugs! Dude, no!
After a little slug...
Freddy went down that fucking stoner's throat! Yeah. So that means we could get a movie at some point of Jason fighting Victor Crowley or Michael Myers. But now I need to buy Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. So now I don't have everything canon to Friday to fucking Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't have all those movies now that are canon to it.
Ain't that the one about his niece?
What? Huh? What?
I said, ain't that like Michael Myers' niece?
What? No, that has nothing related to Michael. It just mentions him and the other killers in it. They get brief mentions in Behind the Mask, Rise of Leslie Vernon.
Oh.
This is the original characters aside from the horror movies people mentioned.
Oh.
His niece.
I know his niece ended up in a psychiatric ward in one of them.
Is in no, she doesn't. Actually, no, she does in part 5 of that series. As a kid psychiatric ward because she killed his mom, her adopted mom.
I was about ready to say I watched that show with Mike. Don't tell me that it was out. That movie with Mike. Don't tell me she didn't end up in the...
I forgot. That's where she was mute. Then when she became mute, and then Michael escaped at the end, and then we skipped to part 6 where we realized, oh, we're not talking about Halloween. No, we don't want to get part 6 either. But that implies Michael raped her. Which makes no sense, since his whole mission is to kill his family, but then they bring in a new one because they want the baby to join the cult, and it makes no fucking sense when you have Michael who's immortal in your fucking cult already. We ain't getting into that. There are Nightmare on Elm Street comics, but those cost way too fucking much. Most of them do. That's why I was happy to get this, is that you don't normally find that cheap, Mom, this comic I got. Does that mean also, yeah, does that mean Dead by Daylight is maybe, no, that don't mean Dead by Daylight's canon. I mean, that's reboot Freddy, not original Freddy. So we're fine. No, oh fuck, we're not fine, because original movie Michael was in Dead by Daylight. So that means that's canon to Friday the 13th. God fucking damn it!
Ain't reboot Freddy and original Freddy the same thing?
No.
This plays
No. Original Freddy's Robert Englund. Reboot Freddy's the guy who played Rorschach in the Watchmen movie, but I forget who played him.
Oh, that's a stupid movie after Robert Englund retired.
That's after Freddy vs. Jason, the reboot one, which took the first movie and amped it up to 11 on the gore and rape. The gore and sexual shit that Freddy did.
Yeah, that's
because
the ones
the
that
other movies say it, okay, but they don't out loud really say it aside from Freddy vs. Jason. The other ones mention he had a thing for kids.
They indicate it.
Yeah, indicate it. They don't go and full out say he fucked and show it.
No, they indicate it was saying he likes little kids, especially little girls.
No, not little kids. They say he likes children.
Especially
that implies teenagers too. That's why he's killing the teens, to get revenge on, the adults, because that's his target audience. Is that a joke? Is that a joke I should have made? Target audience?
It's shutting off to save power because of how long it hasn't been used.
Anyways. What are we talking about now? Oh, anyways. But in the reboot...
Always leaves me with the fucked up lighter.
But anyways, in the reboot is when they full out show what Freddy did to those kids. Actually, that just sound no.
I wouldn't know because I haven't seen none of the rebooted ones.
We have it. That came in the...
Okay, that's
no, but that's what... But we didn't because we needed that one. And then Freddy TV show. Okay. The on DVD, but that costs a lot of money, so there's only Pacific episodes. But then if you go on Etsy, you can buy a DVD version that it says is the actual series. It doesn't say it's the case. But that show never made it to DVD, and I don't trust Etsy when it comes to that because, well...
That's why I say I've never seen a TV show on DVD.
And that's why it was on. And that's why Maverick Timu took it off.
The TV show that had me hiding under the blanket every fucking.
And not all the episodes were Freddy episodes, which I'm mad about. Yeah, Freddy appeared in all of them, but he wasn't the main villain in all of them. And Jason wasn't the first ever killer Freddy won against, since in that show it had another murderer on Elm Street killing people, and Freddy hated him. But did Freddy try to stop him? No. He just left it for the main girl to do it, since he was having fun watching it. To be honest, he hated the killer, but he was having fun watching what's going on. That's why I said you can remake that show. Bring it back. I don't care who you have Freddy. It could be the one from the remake series or Robert Englund. Just bring back Freddy's Nightmares. Please. Please! New Line Cinema, bring the show back, or at least do a DVD version of it. Release it on Blu-ray or some shit. Please, I would pay you money for it. If I had hundreds of dollars, I would pay you that. I know no one from New Line Cinema is watching this. I just want that show back. I need that show. I fucking miss it. It was a good show.
You don't even know it.
Yes, I do.
Even born.
I watched it. It was on Temu. On Tubi, not Temu, Tubi.
I was about to say Temu, your shopping app.
It could be on Temu too.
How'd you watch it on some Temu?
I watched it on Tubi. It was on Tubi. And it actually had Freddy in it, unlike that show called Friday the 13th, which wasn't connected to the movies, but it's called Friday the 13th since it was about, cursed artifacts and shit. Anyway. Jason is at hopefully. I haven't heard anything about that show in a while.
They're supposed to be filming and shit, man.
Anyways, though, going back to the Wikipedia, note the dates in films 2 and 4 are correct, possibly disproving my theory about the alternate universe.
Because that's what the new design of Jason's supposed to be for. Is the TV show.
No. The TV show is supposed to take place before Jason died. That's for Camp Crystal Lake. The new design is for the Jason verse, which may or may not be on here, but I don't know when this was updated.
They're saying the TV show is now part of the Jason verse.
Everything's part of the Jason verse. Even the previous movies are.
Because they're saying they're using the new mask in it. Well, at least that's what the articles I found on Google said.
Anyway, 1958 to 1985, with waiting to distance itself from the Voorhees murder, officials changed the name of the town and lake from Crystal Lake to Forest Green. I was correct. I said, doesn't matter what you call it, Camp Crystal Lake, Camp Blood, Forest Green. And I said, I think it was called that in that one movie. I was fucking correct. It was called Forest Green in part 5 and 6. In part 6, I was fucking correct.
Okay, I don't know. Your Mikey's always called it Crystal Lake.
That's because it
No
is.
matter what the movie calls it.
Because, as Tommy says, no matter, in part 6, no matter what you change the name to, it will always be Crystal Lake to him. Jason. And then we get a new beginning. 17-year-old Tommy Jarvis, no longer a legal ward of the state, is sent from the Urchin Institute of Mental Health to Pinehurst Halfway House. That day, Victor J. Fandon axes fellow patient Joey to death. Paramedic Roy Burns, Joey's father, is horrified at the sight of Joey's body and swears revenge on the residents of the halfway house. That night, Roy disguises himself as Jason and kills 2 greasers. Oh, great. The first victim you killed ain't even people who live at the halfway house that you want revenge on. You killed 2 fucking greasers. Also, I forgot, at the beginning of this movie, we have a nightmare of Tommy's having in the back of the car. So that shows that he still has traumatic shit from Jason. And Jason kills him in that hallucination nightmare thing.
Oh, this is the one where they come down the trees and shit. Okay.
In part 5. Where Jason in that fucking nightmare was born with the fucking thing.
They're staying in the white halfway house and cutting down the trees.
Yeah.
And shit.
Yeah, that, boom. The following night, Roy kills an ambulance driver and his girlfriend. This is the one with the horny ambulance driver and the girlfriend just shows her titty like
I know
this.
exactly which one this is now.
Yeah, we watched it. Oh, finally we get back to a Friday the 13th in this series called Friday the 13th. Friday, October 13th, Roy goes on a full-out killing spree against the resident of the Pinehurst halfway house. 5 of the Pinehurst teenage patients, neighbors.
Sarah?
No, E-T-H-E-L. Eliva or something? It's an older name for an older... Ethel and Junior Hubbard. Drifter. And the cook's eldest grandson and his girlfriend and his own partner. Roy kills his, his paramedic partner who works with him as a paramedic. Roy Rampage is finally halted by...
I didn't realize I had that.
What?
Adult Swim.
Yeah. I got it so we can watch some show one time. And it was on there. Roy's rampage is finally halted by Pam Roberts, Reggie, the little African-American boy who Grandpa dies. He made the mask and stuff, and Tommy became friends with him, and Tommy. Roy is impaled on a set of tractor heralds. in the hallway house barn. Halfway house barn. Not hallway. Halfway. House barn. I'm really fast. Even further unsettled, Tommy attacks Pam. At the end, where he puts on the Jason mask, I never liked that ending because it just shows Tommy as Tommy went from this hero back to someone who's fucked up. For me, I get why Roy right in front of him. Tommy didn't make sense. I think Donnie knew that. Okay, let's say that is right up there with my hatred of what they did to Jamie in fucking Halloween 5 and 4. Halloween 4, that mom, adopted mother. And I think she didn't actually kill her mom in part 5. I think it says she attempted to kill her mom in Halloween 5. And that's what she was sent to the youth mental hospital, Jamie was. And she became mute somehow. And I don't like the movies. Those are the ones I don't like.
Because she was supposed to become the next Michael.
And fans hated it. They didn't like it. They should have known not to do that, though, because of what was before Halloween 4, which finally got back Michael, was Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which has nothing to do with Michael.
Because the original plans,
Was
I think, was to use Jamie, actually,
No.
as the next Michael.
No. The original plan was Halloween 1, 2, done with Michael entirely. Halloween 3 was supposed to start the anthology series, but they hated it, the fans did, because you only had 2 movies with Michael. So then they bring back Michael for 4, and then they were going to do the cult curse thing, and that's why they're going to have Jamie be the killer. And then they got rid of that and had Michael be the killer again, because they're like, oh shit. One of the guys writing the movies or making the movies said the fans ain't going to like this because we just brought back Michael. They're going to hate it if we get rid of him. And then Michael just stayed the killer throughout that whole universe. With Friday the 13th, though, it works. Pamela, Jason, Roy, Jason. Anyways, note, October 13th, 1989 was a Thursday. The only Friday, the 13th in 89 was in May. This is untrue. October 13th, 89 was a Friday, and the 13th was on a Friday in May 1988. They probably updated this. 1990s. Oh, finally! So how old would Jason be in 1990 now? How old would he be? I mean, this is the movie before Part 7.
I'm figuring it out.
Because I'm probably going to do Leatherface next. And then do the comic thing. Just so I can actually get the timeline correct. So that means this is in the 90s at some point this comic is, if it's canon. It's 50. Okay, so that the old man, he didn't even murder still. He's still dropping down from buildings, not even bending his goddamn knees. I was making a joke, but he's old and he's dropping off of buildings and shit without bending his goddamn knees. He's gonna feel that shit in his old age.
You're saying your granny's old?
She's 60.
Because she's 60?
She's getting there. Anyways, though, Mom, ain't Jason gonna be feeling that shit in his old age, just dropping down from shit, not bending his knees at all?
He should be, yes.
Anyways, though,
But
I'm doing timeline order.
I think he's not a human, as you put it.
Yay. He stopped being human. Okay, he was already a Deadite, technically, if we do Part 9 shit. And that's how he came back. Because, and Friday and Freddy vs. Jason versus Ash. Ash says so Jason is a type of Deadite. He said type of, so that doesn't mean that Jason, that's why Jason doesn't act like a normal Deadite.
That's
saying,
my point.
Join us.
If he's a type of Deadite, maybe his body age is different.
Jason went through a whole bunch of shit.
So maybe he don't feel it.
Because in part 1 to 4, he was supposed to be just a human. He died, came back as a Frankenstein zombie, and then in part 9 he was a demon, Deadite thing. And then we learned he always been a Deadite from the fucking Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash comics. And Freddy vs. Jason went back to being a normal fucking zombie. And then in part 10, we don't get to part 10. Part 10 he became a cyborg called Uber Jason. But in the comics, somehow Uber Jason fought normal Jason. I never read that comic though, so I don't know how it makes sense. Oh, you wanna know what one of the first Nightmare on Elm Street comics were, Mom? You wanna know? I believe one of the first ever Nightmare on Elm Street comics was a comic version of Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, the worst movie in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. The one where they don't make it 3D until the end of the goddamn movie, so it has no reason to be 3D. But so, Jason went from human to zombie to demon to Deadite to fucking cyborg robot man. So he went from Deadite to human to zombie to demon to Deadite. So he went from Deadite to him from part 10, somehow fights normal Jason in a comic book series, and I don't know how that fucking works because I never read that comic, but it doesn't make sense.
Yourself.
Well, the Jason that Uber Jason fights looks like Jason from Freddy vs. Jason, which would take place before Part X, since Part X is in the future, so they already captured Jason.
We do like the superheroes and like time traveling.
I'm guessing time travel.
So we do a different.
So that means the Friday the 13th timeline would go Part 1.
Or is there like a multiverse there or two that no one knows about?
I don't know. But it will go that new Crystal Lake series if it's canon to the main universe, because that's a prequel. So if it's canon to the main universe, it'd be that. But if it ain't, then it'll be Part 1, Part 2, 3, and 4. Be 1, 2, 1, be 2, 3, and 4 on the same day. Part 5. Part 6, 7, 8. That's the 8, no. Part 6, this comic series. Part 7, Part 8. Part 9, Freddy vs. Jason. Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash. A couple of the other comics. I don't know. I'm not putting them in there yet. I mean, I have never read them. Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, the Nightmare Warriors. Friday the 13th, Part X, aka Part 10, or also known as Jason X, because that was the time when they said, oh, it's cool to have X in the title, and all that, and have just the name. Hang on, so that means Freddy and Jason both had a movie with their name in it. Freddy had Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, and Jason had Jason X. And then there was Jason fighting Jason comic. Which, I don't know how that works, because I never read the comic. Anyways. Friday the 13th. Part 6. The Jason Lives, even though this is 2 movies after the final chapter. I realized something. Jason and Freddy had movies that said the final blah blah blah. So there's Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, Friday the 13th Part 4, The Final Chapter, and then Friday the 13th Part 9, Jason's Go to Hell, The Final Friday. And that wasn't the final movie. Since after Freddy Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, you had Wes Craven's New Nightmare, you had Freddy vs. Jason, and the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot. Or remake, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, remake. And for Jason, you had Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, and then the remake. And now that new series is coming out for Jason. God damn it. Can we, if we're going to call something the final, can we make it actually the final? That's like having Michael Myers, the final Halloween, but then having fucking 15 more Halloween movies after that. I'm surprised Michael Myers never had a movie called something the final in it.
You do brighten up when you fire up.
Anyways, Tommy Jarvis and his friend Alan Howies go to the Eternal Peace Cemetery to dig up and destroy Jason Voorhees' body. So we went from Deadite Human Jason to Frankenstein Jason now.
Yeah,
I say Deadite Human Jason because apparently Jason was a Deadite the whole fucking time. If you actually believe the Evil Dead comics crossover with Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. Because that is canon. Because the book is canon. To Part 9. And Part 9 is canon to the rest of the fucking movies. Even though I wish it wasn't. It is. It's not that good of a movie, but it's not that bad of a movie. I'm guessing the big area is top number 3. Connecting. You're alive. Thank you. I'm alive. I'm living.
Alive. I'm 47 years old, so I hope I'm alive. If not, I'm a zombie. I can feel that, but can't zombies feel things too?
No. So it depends. Some zombies, they don't feel anything really. Because of the nerves in their brains being messed up. It depends what zombies we're talking about. That's why we don't get into zombies' feelings and body stuff, because it depends on what zombie we're talking about. I mean, there's multiple zombies. There's normal zombies, Walking Dead, there's Left 4 Dead, there's Black Ops, there's the Call of Duty zombies, which are aggressive as fuck. There's the Zombieland zombies, the zombie girl from iZombie, which is a DC property. There's Solomon Grundy. You know, there's different types of zombies, what I'm saying. So, yeah. So, all zombies act differently. There's Jason. He's a zombie, technically. That means he's a zombie demon. And, because he died. And then he came back, like Frankenstein. But the Deadite, how would he die? How? But normally, it took Ash bunches to kill a Deadite in the first movie, and then they died easily, but you know. You don't see the Deadites, but they don't really die, so but Jason died in Part 4, so that's why he's a type of Deadite and not fully a Deadite. So I believe Jason is half Deadite. Anyways, though, Tommy Jarvis and his friend went to the Eternal Peace Cemetery to dig up and destroy Jason Voorhees' body. Upon seeing Jason's body, Tommy has an audio flashback and repeatedly stabs Jason's corpse. So we don't see the flash, but we probably hear the flashback. I don't know what the fuck they mean by audio flashback. He stabs the corpse with a metal rod that he pulled from the fence. From the fucking fence. And this is where... But... How... Wary, you know? Because he then leaves the fucking goddamn fucking piece of fence in Jason Voorhees' body. To go burn the body. But then a fucking lightning bolt strikes the fence post and reanimates Jason. This is why I say Frankenstein era, because, well, he's a dead body.
He ain't got much longer, because I gotta charge my phone in a minute.
We have as long as we need. Since I can just plug this in and fucking still do it. Anyways, I'm probably gonna get off this wiki if I forget to come back to it. That's what happens to the Mad Hatter one. So, and I don't want that to happen since there's been no point of doing this on the live. Since then, it's just weird. Anyways, increasing his strength and essentially making him indestructible. Jason kills Alan Howes, and wearing a new hockey mask constructed by Tommy, sets out for Camp Crystal Lake. Now we open as Camp Forest Green. Tommy makes it to the police station and is locked up by Sheriff Michael Gravis. Garris. Who deems the boy crazy. En route to the camp, Jason kills the head counselors. Oh yeah, because they were late there, since where they were driving through, they had to go through mud and shit because in the woods they were driving and off the road. And the guy came out of his car, the guy in the car said, let's scare him when they see Jason in front of the car. And his girlfriend's like, scare him? We ain't gonna scare him. I've seen too many horror movies to know a guy in a mask is dangerous. I mean, this was around the time of streaming shit. Anyways, though, the guy gets out with his little gun that ain't gonna do shit. Jason kills him and his girlfriend. Because she tries to pay him money, so she thinks Jason wants money. Jason don't want your MasterCard. He wants cash. She didn't have that much actual cash on her, is what I'm saying. She mainly had cards, because that was popular in the 80s and 90s, was to have a lot of cards that had a lot of money on them from different places, especially in movie set in that time period. But that's because that's when all these car companies kept having commercials promoting their cards.
No, that's because back then every store had their own little credit card.
That too. And I think she actually had a MasterCard. I'm not too sure though. Anyway, Friday, July 13th, another one. Yes, we're getting back into it. That's today, July 12th. Anyways, Thursday, July 12th. Friday, July 13th, another movie. This is part 6, and this also set on Friday the 13th. Part of it is Jason goes on a killing spree at Camp Forest Green, claiming the lives of an exclusive 5 people playing a paintball game. They're like park rangers or something like that. Cemetery caretaker, a young couple, 3 of the remaining counselors, teenage girl, Sheriff Graves, and 2 of his police officers. Tommy and Megan Graves eventually managed to chain Jason to a large rock at the bottom of Lake Forest Green. I don't know where Ma, what the fuck are you? Goddamn, you could have waited to do this goddamn shit later. We're making a video. No, you'd be back now.
Right there.
Come on. Come on. Come here. Come here, girl. Not you. Hi, girl. I know.
He's got a bald spot on his head already from chewing so shiny from chewing that.
Come on, girl. Hey, girl.
Just 'cause I lost
Anyways.
weight don't mean you have to stop eating.
I need help with age. In a minute. And
You're in 11th grade, and you can't do simple math.
I can't do it as quick as you. Okay? You're gonna do it faster than me, so that's why I'm having you do all the age shit. 1933. How old would Jason be?
And when?
1993. 1993. 1993. How old is Jason?
Give me a minute.
Because we're gonna move on to this at some point tonight. But I'm doing timeline for the characters. So, this would be in the 1930s.